So I was going to make an analogy of a different song to that. And that's the Who song, where all they sing is, "Who are you?" And they sing those lyrics over and over and over and over and over again. Who are you? Who are you? And as I was reading the other day, I was reading Ken Wilber. And Ken Wilber talked about what is a philosopher. And a philosopher is one who reads and asks the same question over and over and over. No matter what the answer is, the philosopher is always asking the question, going a little bit deeper and a little bit deeper. So when we look at the very simple lyrics to a song, "Who are you?" we come up with one answer. If we ponder it for a little bit longer, we'll come up with another. And then if we ask it at a different moment, another answer reveals itself. And then if we allow ourselves to fall deeper and deeper, a different energetic starts coming into play, and we start to realize that there's something within us that we cannot describe. It is the idea that we talk about each and every week, that we are individualizations of the One. That we are the divine incarnate here. That we are children of God. We are the sons and daughter of the infinite. The key thing to come to understand, that I keep coming to understand, is first off, we cannot express it in words, and no one can show us. This whole idea of connecting to universal mind and infinite intelligence is something that only we can do for ourselves. It's only something that we can tap into. We can be able to see it in others, but it's up to them to see it in themselves. You see, we can't do that for others, because here's the beauty of life. Everyone is on their own perfect journey. And their journey will evolve to the degree that they choose to evolve it. It has nothing to do with what you may want for a child, or you may want for a partner, or you may want for a parent or for a boss. That has no relevance, because each individualization of the One has come with perfect free will. And it is from that free will that each of us gets to choose how we evolve into that. This idea of this individualization, this feeling of connection, this idea of oneness is something that is the aspect of us that is eternal. It has always been, and it always will be. It is all-powerful, and it is all-knowing, and it is right here and now. We become confused as we allow the duality of life to get in our way, the materialistic idea of life to get in our way, and we see ourselves in limited form. And most of the time when someone asks us, well, who are you? We go into this idea and we talk about, well, I'm the 6'2" man. I'm X this, I'm X that, I'm X this and that. And really, that's not who I am. I am the individualization of the One, here to express and to uncover and to be on this journey of self-discovery. You see, that's what life is. Life is a journey of self-discovery. And if you remember the movie Raiders of the Lost Ark, when they were looking for the Holy Grail, remember that journey? They're looking for the Holy Grail. What is this chalice, this cup, this receptive vehicle? It wasn't a thing. It's the journey of connecting into the allness that you've always been. That's the eternal journey that we're on. We get to sip from the cup that is life, but we don't get to be the cup, because we're always becoming more. We're always becoming a greater expression of that. And that journey is eternal. It never ends. So the idea that we think that we're going to get someplace and be someplace and that is it is gravely mistaken. Remember when we were teenagers? Well, wait, one person in this room can. But as teenagers, we thought, or I thought, my God, I can't wait to be 21. When I'm 21, my parents can't tell me anything. The government can't tell me anything. The school systems can't tell me anything. I am 21. And what happens when you're 21? There's something else. Maybe it's 30. Well, maybe after 30, it's 35. And then, oh my God, it's 39. And after that, we stop and we want to go backwards. But you see, it's that journey that we're on. And in mind, when we're tapped into the idea that we are on an eternal quest, an eternal finding of who we are, the experience of who we are, we never age. Because the anticipation and the joy that we are is always pulling us forward. It's within us, leading us forward. It's not something outside of us. It's within us, taking us forward. So if we are feeling discomfort in our lives at this moment, it's because we haven't answered something within us that wants us to come forward, to express and to experience, and to be a greater individualization of the one. We were not meant to be stagnant. We were meant to create. And when we're in that creative process, we are living in joy. Jesus, when asked, where did this power come from? He said, it is not I, it is the Father. And when asked, where is the Father? He said, it is within. And so Jesus very clearly described that the journey is within us. And when we go within and we tap into the infinite intelligence, or we tap into this idea that they used the term Father for 2,000 years ago, then we are in a state of joy. Then we are in our empowerment. And then we are creating our lives. All power is centered in one thing and one thing only. It is not in your wife. You hear that, men? And women, there is no man that can fulfill you to make you whole. Your power, everyone's power, is in their own consciousness. It is in the way that they think. And how that consciousness demonstrates is the picture of your life. It's just that simple. Your life is a reflection of your consciousness at this moment. There is no getting around it. There's no one else to look to. There's nothing to blame. There's nothing to feel. Just go and say, it's my consciousness. And the key thing is, as we shift that consciousness, as we make a movement in that consciousness, everything in our lives starts moving in a new direction. That's the power of freedom. That's the power of creativity that is within us. Here's the thing about creativity. This is the one thing that so many times in this idea of new thought that we get stuck in. We think that we can think it for a day or for a week. But it's something we build a habit that we must constantly always be thinking about it. So when we know who we are, and we are one with all that exists, that we are the individualization, and we realize that this power of thought is within us, we can go through life without any fear that what we've did in the past is going to impact us in the future, because we can change our thought now and have a completely new experience and expression. Ernest Holmes said this: our body and our experiences are effects that are created by the thinking, feeling nature of our consciousness. Our body and our experience are the effects of our feeling, thinking nature. And he tied those two words together, feeling and thinking, really clearly, because when you think something, it's just a thought. When there's feeling behind it, now we're building a belief behind it. And the more we can come to that idea that we believe it, and we tap into who we are, we demonstrate, we create right then and there. We had a workshop yesterday for our foundations class. And in that workshop, it was purely experiential. That experience was, how do I feel the sense of oneness? How do I know the infinite nature of God? And then what we did is we did an angel walk, which in turn brought us to the idea of unification. How many people here have done the foundation workshop? Raise your hands. So there's a great number of people that understand that after those two simple parts of the day, your life changes. Because there's a feeling that happens for you in the course of that class that has brought you to a deeper realization of who you are. It's inescapable, and yet it's undescribable. You see, how do you describe being one with the infinite? How do you describe being all-powerful? How do you describe being all-knowing when it's not from your ego? Because your ego only knows comparison. It knows comparison to this or that. When you're coming from the infinite, there's no comparison, because the infinite has nothing to compare itself to. The key thing about living in love and knowing who you are is that we accept everything that happens to us as an advancement in our consciousness as we move forward in our life journey. You see, everything that happens to us and to anyone is for the purpose of elevating awareness, elevating consciousness, so that we become more tapped into this idea that we are the creative power in our lives. So if we can't accept aspects of ourselves, then we haven't embodied the idea that everything in our experience was self-created. Everything in our experience is for us to see life from a different plane, to see life from a higher energetic. So we have to be able to sit back and accept, oh yes, I remember my teenage days. I remember the mistakes I made there. I remember who I was in my 20s and the mistakes I made there. I remember the mistakes I made in relationships. I remember the mistakes I made in finances. I remember the mistakes I made in how I treated others. I remember the mistakes I made in business. And yes, I love myself, including all of those mistakes. Because mistakes are simply what? We've just missed the mark. We're shooting to be at one with God, and the mistake is we shot our arrow off in a different direction. But when we can accept that shooting off in a different direction caused us to understand, oh, I don't want to be there, I want to be over here, we realize that experience, what we call a mistake, was really a guide for us to shift our focus and go down a different path. And sometimes it takes us making the mistake over and over and over again because some of us might be a bit thick-headed. Anyone there with me? Don't raise your hands. The first one up was Gene, and it was Susie pushing his hand up. Here's the beauty of this process. Each thought and action that we take takes us closer in our journey to oneness. It doesn't matter what action or what thought we take. It takes us closer to our oneness, to our awareness. You see, the key thing is we talk about all these ideas in terms about personal growth, development, and all that. And really, there is no growth. There is no development. You're already it. The whole thing that we desire is we become aware of who we are. And when we become totally aware of who we are, there's an instantaneous shift in the energetic that we are. And the energetic that we are then starts creating a whole new experience. It attracts into our lives experiences from people that we would never have had before. It attracts new people into our lives. It attracts it because we have become that and we express that. And when we express it believing, there's no doubt in our mind that that's what we're going to give back. You see, when we truly believe something, it must be that we'll get it back. There can be no doubt in our mind. If we have a doubt, it's telling us the belief is not strong enough and there's more work to do. And the work is always about building that belief and having that thought being fed and fed over and over again into our subconscious mind so that the predominant habitual pattern of thought in the subconscious mind is toward that which we seek to have. Better yet, it's that which we seek to be. It's that which we seek to know about who we already are. You see how language can take everything and push it off into the future? So when it comes to this idea of living in joy and knowing who you are, it's not about becoming something. It's about being it now. Fully embody it and being it now. It doesn't matter where you are. If you're in a relationship right now and they're struggling, know that that's irrelevant. Because all you have to do is shift your thought now and be the love in this moment, and the past is let go. And when you are that love in this moment, that love will come back to you just as you are giving it out. Children forget very easy. Dogs forget even easier. That's why they're always in the now. It's only when we go into this idea that we're not in the oneness and we bring the past over and over back into our experience, or we look to the future over and over in our experience, that we come out of who we are. See, the truth of who we are does not live in the past, and it does not live in the future. It lives now. The past is simply there to be a guide to where we are now. Once we accept where we are now, we can let go of the past. It's irrelevant to us because in this moment, we know who we are. We don't have to worry about the future because it's irrelevant because we know who we are. And now we speak in the direction of what we desire to be in this moment. And when we do that, we are living in joy. Why are we living in joy? Because we know who we are and we are self-empowered. When we know who we are, we know how powerful we are. We know there's nothing other to come into our lives to bring us this sense of fulfillment, this sense of wholeness. We are already it. Every act is an act of self-discovery. And what's fascinating is take the idea of understanding that every thought, word, and action that you are is about discovery, and now apply it to the world. And when you look around the world at everything that you read and you hear about, it's really the total consciousness of humanity seeking to discover itself, seeking to self-understand who it is. And so we don't have to judge it. But what we do know is that consciousness is seeking to become more. And we, as a part of that consciousness, become a critical piece in how it grows and expands. We can feed the beast, or we can calm the beast. And all of that comes to how we see ourselves. I'm doing research, a lot of research, deeper and deeper into the art of spiritual mind treatment. Spiritual mind treatment being the form of prayer that we do where we don't beseech, but we declare from knowing who we are what it is. And there's a statement that Ernest Holmes wrote that was so clear. It's the clearest thing I've ever read. And he says, we cannot treat for someone else until we've healed ourselves. We cannot know the truth for someone else until we've known the truth for ourselves. So many times we want to be out there for others when in fact we haven't done the work within. And sometimes in New Thought, it's called that maybe it's said that we're narcissistic because we're so focused on being within. Well, the fact of the matter is, until we can heal within ourselves, till we can see our light, till we can see our truth, till we become that and demonstrate it, it's very difficult to see it for others. So an idea of counseling with couples, I always will bring them together and say it's not the two of you that have to be fixed in relationship. It's each of you going out and finding yourselves so that when you can come from knowing your truth, you now can come to someone and say, now we can support each other because I know who I am. I am the individualization of the one. I am here for growth, for expansion, for awakening my self-awareness and creating a life so magnificent. And if you are all powerful as I am, which I know you are, now we can create this together. So, do you see where I'm going with this? This idea of knowing who we are is the very essence of living a life in joy. Because when we can know who we are and we live that essence in joy, we radiate an energy out that others will pick up. And when they pick up, they will ask, who are you? And you will say, I'm the divine, expressing and becoming more aware, and I see that in you. And you may not use those words, but the essence and allness of who you are will demonstrate that. And they will want to know more. When you see someone walking around and there's an energetic with them, and you want to go and you want to talk to them, you want to understand what they're all about, it's because they know a bit more about who they are. There's nothing like seeing someone walking in confidence. So I challenge you this week to spend some time asking the question, who are you? And then ask the question, who are you? Then ask the question, who are you? And keep going deeper and deeper and deeper till you've embodied an idea that is so perfect, so whole, that you are proud to say, I am the individualization of creation. And I am here to cause creation to become more. I do that because That is who I am. I want to thank you for joining us today. I am so grateful that you took your time to watch or listen to this message. If you found this message beneficial, I would ask you to go to our website. Once there, click on the Contribute button and experience the joy of conscious and purposeful giving. It is through your gifts that we are able to bring this message to the world. I would also ask you to please share this message with anyone you feel might benefit. Again, I want to thank you for joining me and the Agape community as together we bring joy to life.